We were talking about my target audience.
And
then I think
welcome back, everyone.
We would have gone into then
Sorry.
like what I was going to talk about at the conference.
Perfect. So we are back. So sorry. Thank you those who stuck with us. For those who are just joining or weren't with us before, this is Jenn Herman. She is a Instagram expert, and we were talking a little bit about who she works with and who her target market is.
So should I go into it again?
Yeah.
Okay. I know. I was watching over on Facebook to see if the video had popped back up, but I didn't see it pop back up. But it shows that we're live here, so we're gonna roll with it. Yeah, so my target audience is typically medium to larger size organizations. I love female-led organizations, and usually people that have a marketing staff on hand, people who have some sort of a team of people dedicated to the marketing side. They may also have sales teams, they may have branding teams, they may have, customer service teams and that sort of thing. And I like to work with them to bring the whole strategy together. So typically, sales doesn't necessarily talk to marketing, and they kind of do their own things. And there isn't necessarily somebody on the, the operations side that's handling anything on social media. And social media has become a forefront for customer service. If people have complaints or issues or, delivery problems, they're going to go to, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that sort of thing. So your social media people need to be equipped to handle that and be able to respond to that. So then there's also the branding and the messaging and making sure it's consistent so that no matter where people are connecting with your brand, it's always being the same tone and the same voice. So I like to come in and strategize and help, organizations figure out what that looks like across the board and make that work a little more streamlined. But of course, I do work with smaller organizations as well. I've worked with small businesses and solopreneurs, coaches, and that sort of thing to basically do the same thing. Of course, in those situations, you're usually the end all be all. So you're well equipped to handle the customer service, the sales, the marketing, and everything because it's all you. But I come in and help you strategize what that looks like to be more effective and make sure that the content you're putting out is aligned with your business goals.
And speaking in terms of Instagram, because that's part of the strategy. What would you say Instagram serves as like a tool in that strategy? Like what is the most effective use, I guess, for a business using Instagram?
So it really depends on the business. I always tell people any business can use Instagram. That doesn't mean every business should use Instagram. Your audience has to be there first and foremost, which with over 1 billion monthly active users, I can make the argument that your audience is there. But you do have to make sure your audience is there, that they want to get the content from you in that way. I mean, that's important as well, knowing that they actually, have presence on the platform, that they interact on the platform, and that they want to connect with you in that way. And then what type of content? Are they doing Instagram stories? Are they doing regular feed? Are they doing IGTV? What's their content favorite? Because that's going to tie into what you create. But then in terms of, how you go through and maximize that, some brands are going to focus education. Like my personal, my dominant Instagram account is Jenn's Trends, and it's for breaking news and updates and information and education, mostly about Instagram, but about social media. So I don't post a lot of fluffy, behind the scenes things. And I don't post a lot of things about my daughter. I'll do that in stories and mix in some of my personal life. But I use my platform as an educational tool. There's other accounts that are doing it purely for entertainment. There's other accounts that can mix in a combination of the two. So it really depends on what your business goal is, what your end goal is, and how you want to tie all of that together in terms of how it's best for you to maximize the platform.
Awesome. And can you repeat one more time your Instagram, your dominant Instagram, because it cut out? Yeah. Sure that our viewers have that.
Yeah, so it's Jenns _trends, JENNS_trends.
Are there
Nope.
going to put it on the, okay, great. And so what are you going to bring to a conscious coach?
Yeah, which I'm so excited about because I love that it's in San Diego and we get to hang out here. But yeah, I'm going to be focusing on how to help you build your brand on Instagram as a coach. Now, as a coach, you have your target audience, you have your unique voice and your unique way of coaching people. You may have a small team, but most of you are probably doing this on your own as a coach. And you get to be you, and that is your brand. But how do you convey that in a way that builds your clientele, that gets you more leads? So that's what we're going to dive into, talking about Instagram. So we'll talk about how to set up your profile for maximum benefits for you. We'll talk about content strategies, the types of content to create, how to write effective captions that work for you, for things like driving up engagement, things like driving, conversions over to, whether it's your website, sending you emails, lead generation tactics, that sort of thing. And of course, we'll talk hashtags because we can't talk Instagram and not talk hashtags. Mm-hmm. So I will share my super secret recipe that I tell everybody, that will help you get found in the right places, because spoiler alert, using hashtag coach or hashtag coaching is not going to get you clients. So I will give you some examples of how you can use that more effectively.
Awesome. Do you have like one example that we could take
for hashtags?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the thing is, you need to know where your target audience is. Where are they hanging out and what are they doing? So if you are a business coach, you have a different audience than someone who is a life coach, than somebody who is doing something in a very specific niche as a business. You may be working specifically with other coaches. You may only work with entrepreneurs. You may only work with CEOs. So you need to know who that target audience is. So let's just say, for example, if you're working with people in the business space, then you want to use hashtags more related to the business environment where Hi. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? At least I can see you. I can hear you.
Oh,
There we go. I've seen you come in and out, but I'm like, I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me.
let's see if we can stay. I apologize of the live in movement.
We're just going on a tour. It's all good.
Jen, I don't know.
Can you hear me?
On the other side, if you're back.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
So everyone, we are live and you can hear us. Please drop below, comment, like. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Can you hear me? Maybe?
are we back?
I've had you come in and out and I've heard you, but you've been able to hear me.
Oh no, I can't hear you.
Oh no.
I apologize, guys. Worst live ever. We were really trying to teach you what not to do on lives, and this is it. And I know that, Jen, you can hear me, but I can't hear you. And you appear on the live, but not in my screen. So I'm just going to ask questions. And then once I see you stop talking, I'll know that you have answered it.
Okay, so can they hear me on the live show?
Stop talking, so you answered it. What are you? Yeah, okay. So we were talking about what you were excited about, that you're excited about coming to San Diego for the conference. And then what are you bringing to the conference? You said we talked a little bit about hashtags, about building a strategy. They say that they can hear both of us. So there we go. To hear each other. Thank you, Josie. So what else do you see as like a big takeaway from the conference, whether for you personally or that they will benefit, whether it's from you or another speaker?
So I just love, I'm a huge fan of conferences. I'm a believer that there's always something to learn, that we can always learn from more people. And so to go to an event like this that is dedicated for the coaching environment, for people to come together with other like-minded professionals and learn from other people in this space, I think is hugely valuable. And I'm looking forward to it, just even to enhance my own skill set and to be able to really connect with people in that way. So I think that anyone that's coming to the conference will get that huge value out of it. Is going to be one of the best takeaways.
both things, so I can agree. If anyone has a question for Jenn, I can't hear her, but I can tell her the question. So if you have any questions about Instagram or social media, she's a strategist in this field. Take advantage of her now, because the next year you will have to pay to attend the conference coach to get information like this from her. So I would take advantage now. So we'll give them a couple minutes to see if anyone has any burning questions. Let's see if I can fix this. I don't know why it doesn't. Okay. Well, I'll ask a question while they muster up the courage to ask questions. Where do you see, since there's so many new things that are coming into Instagram, right? We have lives, we have TV, we have Instagram timers that we talked about a little bit. Where do you see it going, if possible, let's just say a year in the future, because things move at such an accelerated speed in this field. So where do you see this going? And do you think it's still going to maintain its strength and force in the market?
So I definitely think it's going to maintain its strength. I don't see it dying off anytime soon. Mari Smith is the one who always says, you know, Instagram is Facebook's next Facebook. So it's a huge platform. It's a huge opportunity for growth. It's not going to die down anytime soon. Even with all the things that are going on with Facebook and privacy, people keep saying, they're like, hey, I'm leaving Facebook. I'm going to be on Instagram, like not realizing that the two are actually still owned by the same company. So you're kind of like, well, you're not really achieving anything by doing that. But it is, I do think we'll continue to see that growth. I think we'll continue to see that evolution of the platform. I think we are going to see a lot more push towards more private conversations. So where right now, like when you reply to a story, it goes to a direct message. They're putting live video chat in direct messages. I think we'll see a big push towards that more private conversation and less of the public facing. That also ties into them testing, removing the like counts right now from photos so that people are putting less of an emphasis on the public-facing popularity and the comments and dialogue and making things a much more personal connection. So I think that's what we'll continue to see more of.
So we have, Rebecca had asked earlier, do you suggest any scheduling apps in particular? I know that there's a lot in the market. Do you have a favorite, or, you know, and if so, can you explain a little bit to why?
Yeah, so I personally use Agorapulse if I use a scheduling tool, and that's Agorapulse, Agorapulse. I'm a huge fan of them. I'm actually a brand ambassador. I use them for all of my dashboard management. But again, it's one of those things that, you know, it's a very broad, robust tool that does more than just Instagram. So if you're only looking for Instagram, that may be too much to handle and more than what you need. I also love Iconosquare. That's a big favorite of mine. Tailwind is another great one that I love. I love, you know, Tailwind was built for Pinterest, but then they put a huge emphasis onto Instagram. So there's a really good integration there as well. There's a lot of other ones. There's Planoly, there's Later, there's things like Sprout Social. There's a whole bunch of them out there, but you know, you really have to find the one that works for you, that is in your budget range, and that's going to offer the features that you want. The different platforms have different reporting tools, different scheduling functionality. But those are the big ones and kind of where I would recommend you at least look at first.
So hi, Sabrina. She says hi to everyone. I also wanted to ask, I don't know if that was covered in that response, because if anyone is just logging on, I'm having technical difficulties all around today, so I cannot hear Jenn. That's also why she's signaling every time she's done answering a question. But sometimes you don't need audio. So talking about automation and bots, those are coming in a lot, right, in this industry. And so what is your take on that? And if you use any and you're, you know, pro bots, can you explain an example of when, and then what are good ones out there?
So I'm not a fan of automated tools in general. They're not my favorite thing. I do understand the value of automation for obviously things like email marketing. Facebook Messenger chatbots are a huge thing. And one of my best friends is a chatbot expert. So I have to like chatbots just because she does, I swear. But it is one of those things that in terms of Instagram, there isn't a lot of automation that is aligned with their API. So any tool out there that will like content for you, that will follow people for you, that will do any of that kind of behavior, those are all actually against the Instagram terms of use and against the API, which means they're in violation. And you put your account at risk by using any of those automation tools. So I am not one to recommend those at all. I think we will get to a point where we will see a little bit more automation, especially on the direct message side. It would be great to see some integration with, scheduling and things like that within the app and those sorts of automation tools. But in general, it's a no-go in terms of automation.
Sabrina agrees that she doesn't like automation either. We have another question here. This is from Rebecca earlier. She had also asked, how does someone use the algorithm to its highest potential?
Oh, I love the word algorithm. It's my favorite word. I'm a science dork and I geek out over this stuff. So the way the Instagram algorithm works is different than Facebook. Facebook is a popularity contest. Instagram is an individual performance. So basically, if you have 100 followers, if 50 of them like every single one of your posts, you will rank high for those 50 people. If 25 of them like some of your posts, you're going to be a mid-ranking performance. So you may rank somewhere, on the 10, 25th or somewhere in their post range when you log on or when they log on. And the 25 people who don't like you, but they follow you and they never interact with your content, you're going to rank low in their feed. And just because the 50 people like your content doesn't mean the 25 who ignore you are going to see you placed any higher, because it's based on their personal performance with you, not based on a popularity contest. So it's important that you're creating the content that your audience actually wants and engages with. And to do this, go look at your Instagram analytics, go look at your insights, and see what your top performing content is. You can go to the content tab and you can filter. You can hit see all for see all posts or something like that. And when you go in there, you can filter for top performing posts. You can look for engagement, you can look for likes, you can look for clicks, website visits. You can filter by different criteria and by different times. So I usually do it for at least the last year and look and see what your top performing content looks like. Is it that where there's always a photo of you? Is it where there's always a certain color? Is it where your product is not in the photo or is in the photo? What is your audience most likely to interact with? And then we want to create more of that type of content that's getting those higher engagements. Now, you do want to look at your engagement high-performing posts, and you want to look at your website clicks high-performing posts, because the website clicks are getting you the conversions, but they may be a different type of content than what is getting a lot of likes. So we want to make sure that when you're getting those reports on what's performing well for you, that you know what type of content works for the different purposes. And then finally, on the algorithm side, less is more. Creating more content will actually hurt you in the long run, because you're making your content fight with itself for attention. If you have a high performing post, let that one perform. Let that one get the likes and the engagement before you post something else. If you post something else the next day, it's going to suffer because it's behind the high performing post, and it's going to basically be competing with it. So less is more. Post once a week, twice a week, whatever works for you, but don't feel an obligation to post a lot of content. You don't even have to post daily. Most people cannot maintain that type of good, high quality content that appeals to their audience at that sort of frequency.
I'm excited to go back and listen to that answer. Sabrina says, yes, that's your specialty. So we got reinforcement on that one. So if you still have any questions left, this was awesome. Please drop them below. We still have Jen for a couple more minutes. Also, I'm going to put her Instagram back up here so you can follow her with her handle.
And while we're waiting for any other questions, since we don't get the chance that she can't hear me, but I want to just remind you guys, she said my handle is at Jenn's, it's JENNS_trends, not JENN_trends. But absolutely go connect with me over on Instagram. Let me know that you saw me here, and make sure to come say hi at the conference. I definitely want to see you guys and reach out and say hi, and look forward to seeing everybody in San Diego.
Okay, no more questions. I'm also curious. I don't know if you said that. It might have been, but what is your... Oh, good one, Erin. She said she just jumped on, but why do my followers go up and down by 10 weekly? I think I know, but that's a great question.
Because people are annoying and people play the follow unfollow game. And it will absolutely, you'll see that fluctuation. I see it all the time. I mean, there's days I'll go up 28 and drop 24 at the exact same time. I'm like, this is ridiculous. But you get a lot of people playing the follow unfollow game. So they use the automated tools that we already said we don't like to use, that actually violate the API. A lot of people go in and they will follow a variety of accounts, and then they unfollow you, 24 to 48 hours, because their goal is, if they follow you, they're hoping you'll follow them back. And so then they unfollow you. And so you see those ups and downs and the fluctuations. I tell people all the time, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter if they're unfollowing you. They're not your target audience. So who cares if they're following you or not? They're not somebody who's going to buy from you. They're not somebody that you want to communicate with. They don't care about you. You don't need to care about them. Every now and then you will also see, excuse me, you'll see a sweep, and you'll lose like 100 followers overnight, or 30 followers or more if you have a bigger audience. And a lot of times what happens is Instagram comes through and issues a sweep of inactive accounts and spam type accounts, and we all see a huge drop in followers overnight. Again, I celebrate those. I'm like, great, get rid of them, because they're never going to buy from me. And the lower your follower count, the higher your engagement ratio. Because if you have 30 likes on a photo and 100 followers, that's a 30% engagement rate. As you get more followers and you're still only getting 30 likes, your engagement rate actually gets lower. So keep that follower count low and keep your engagement rate high. Like, I'd say good riddance. Peace out. Bye-bye.
So, and I don't know if this came into play in the answer, but also I wanted to get your take. I know that there's a strategy that a lot of people use to build their Instagram following very, very fast, which is the follow unfollow. Not sure if that came into play, but could you tell us a little bit about that if you haven't already?
Yeah. So I just said that. But yeah, so it's the follow unfollow. They will follow your account for usually 24, 48 hours, and then they turn around and literally unfollow you right back. They're usually automated tools that do this. And the idea is, again, that if they follow you, you'll see that and you'll follow them, and it will build their audience. But it's irrelevant, and you're not going to build a quality audience. So I totally do not recommend using that tactic.
Okay. Erin says, love that. And then we also, in the links below, in the comments below, guys and girls, we have the correct Instagram to follow Jenn if you want to get more content and information from her. Also, what is your blog?
I can put it in the... Oop. Remember? So it's jenstrends.com, where you can hit me up. Come over. My blog is there. My services are listed there. Tons of information, resources, all that kind of stuff is right there.
Awesome. So I did have a question that came to me. Also, if you guys still have questions, please drop them below, because we're about to wrap up. Take advantage of Jenn's time. Is there a max cap out of friends and followers that you can have on Instagram? And then we talked a little bit about the milestones. What are the big, huge milestones? I've also heard that, to be actually an influencer, you have to have at least over 10,000 followers. So can you touch a little bit about that?
Yeah, so you can have as many followers as possible. So you can have millions of followers. There's no limit to how many people can follow you. But there is a limit to how many people you can follow, and that is 7,500. So you cannot follow more than 7,500 people, but nobody's going to follow 7,500 people realistically. I mean, I follow like 600 and I can't keep up with that. Like it's unmanageable to possibly follow that many accounts. It's absurd to think the average human being would follow that many accounts. So follow whoever is relevant to you. Follow friends, families, celebrities, brands, feature accounts, whatever makes sense to you. It's your Instagram. Follow who matters to you. Now, in terms of those milestones, 100, 500, 1,000, 2,500, 5,000, 10,000 is like the big magic number that everybody wants. I go back to kind of what we were saying about, when it comes to the follow unfollow game, it's not about the numbers. I can be an influencer at 2,000. I can be an influencer at 5,000. I have friends who are hugely influential and they have less than 2,000 followers. So they're still an influencer. They're just either a nano or a micro level influencer. 10,000 allows you to get certain breakout points. Like you can have the swipe up link in stories if you have 10,000 followers. You can be a creator account if you have 10,000 followers. That's this arbitrary number that Instagram assigned, but it doesn't mean anything in terms of conversions. You could have 1 million followers and not be able to sell $5 worth of product. And you could have 1,000 followers and be able to sell out programs for tens of thousands of dollars. So it's not about the actual follower count. It's about your engagement rate and your conversion rate. And that is what really matters whenever you're working with a brand, or if you're a brand trying to work with an influencer.
Awesome. Sharon Washington just logged on and she says, hey, and says that you're amazing. I already know that you two are going to probably cause some trouble at the conference. I'm prepared. Seating chart far away from each other. We talked about that on her live as well.
Oh, it's going to go down. I'm like, you can put us on the sides of the room. We're still going to find each other. It'll be trouble for sure.
So any more questions for Jenn on any of the viewers' side? Any Instagram, also any other social media platforms? She is Instagram expert and social media strategist. I'm actually really excited to go back and rewatch the live where I get all the answers to the questions that I haven't heard. Okay, we'll give them a couple more minutes. Also, ladies and gents, please remember, Early Bird ends at the end of this month. And so you want to make sure that you take advantage of Early Bird. There is a bit of a price jump in the tickets. Also, you want to start tuning into these lives because we are going to be giving away free tickets. Make sure you follow Jenn on Instagram because she has some free tickets in her pocket that she's going to be giving away quite soon, as well as our other speakers. So make sure you connect with them, connect with us on our Instagram. I will put that in our box as well. Anything else you want to add, Jenn, before we wrap up?
I kind of already did my little shout out to everybody and said, come find me on Instagram, JENNS_trends. Come hang out with me. The link to my website is in there, and I can't wait to see you all at the conference. It's going to be exciting.
It sounded nice. It looked nice, as you say it is. So, well, thank you so much for spending your Tuesday afternoon with us. Thank you for all of the content and value that you just shared. We're so excited for your talk and your session at A Conscious Coach and seeing you very, very soon. Have a wonderful day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.